Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I am happy to be here today. I'm doing an EveryDollar video and I'm doing something a little different than I normally do. And I hope to do these EveryDollar videos paycheck to paycheck. So I'll have two paycheck to paycheck videos going up when I do them. One will be a paper version and one will be an EveryDollar version. So I'm excited to try this out and see what you guys think about it. Not everybody does EveryDollar, but if you do, I hope you get something out of this because I've kind of manipulated mine to do what I need it to do, what works for me. And I love EveryDollar. So let's get in and talk about this. And if you have questions or comments about your EveryDollar or anything that you're having trouble with, let me know and I would love to help you. And we'll go from there. So here we go. So I did upload a video, and this is the second video of the same day probably. If not, it's the next day. And this EveryDollar video ties in with what I had already done on paper. So I do a paper budget. I love a paper budget because writing it out with my hand reinforces it in my brain better than just typing the numbers. I mean, that's just how I work, and I want to remember, so I write it out. And you think of things a little quicker when you're writing things out and realizing mistakes a little easier when you are trying to budget that way. So that's why I like a paper budget. But I also love my EveryDollar because it does the math for me. Who doesn't love that? I absolutely love that about EveryDollar. I don't have to think about the math because this is a simple addition, subtraction, budget app. That's what it is. So I have taken my EveryDollar and I kept everything the same except for my 4 spending categories and now a 5th category, which is my savings category. And before getting further, yes, my room is very dark. No, it's not late at night. It's noon in the afternoon and it's just rainy and cloudy. So this is the best I could do with lighting. So I'm very sorry about that. If it's glaring in my glasses or whatever, I do apologize. But this is the best time for me to get this done. So, and I really wanted to do this because I'm excited. I've been working with this system probably about 3 months now, and I'm just now really ready to kind of explain to you guys how I'm going to be budgeting from this point forward. Now this EveryDollar account is a free account. I just used a different email address and created a free one and running 2 EveryDollar budgets at the same time. One trying something new and the other one was where it's connected to my bank and the transactions come through. The problem with it connected to my bank that I really don't like, that aggravates me, is it's not live in the sense that when I spend something, it doesn't go straight to EveryDollar. It goes straight to my bank and then it goes pending for a while, and sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes a week for that pending transaction to hit my account, my EveryDollar app. And so I'm always off on the spending categories and it drives me bananas. And I thought, well, I could track every day in paper and just write the numbers down and subtract and know what my amounts are. But I don't have a mobile version of that. And I didn't want a different app to do that with. There are apps where you can have like categories set up and it just deducts from there. I wanted to do it in my EveryDollar and I didn't want to switch apps and learn something new. So I created in my EveryDollar a way to do that. And you could probably see over to the side here, paycheck, spending, budget 1, 2, and 3, and that's what I'm talking about. The only difference with doing this is you do not get accurate percentages over here in your, these percentages over here on what's household, what's food, because your spending categories are put separate, and I'll show you that. So here's my income right here, then my tithing and offering. Here's my paycheck 1. Now I don't put the budget for the bills in paycheck 1 here, spending, I just put my spending categories. So my grocery household, my miscellaneous, my gasoline, my restaurants, things that I have more than one transaction going to in that budgeting area. So if I am budgeting for my grocery household for spending, and if you watched my paper budget, you would see these numbers are the identical numbers on what was remaining and what was spent for paycheck 1, how much I actually spent and how much is left over. Now, the goal with my decision here to do this is because after every paycheck, I don't want to roll over or balance forward any money, cash. I want to find out how much is left before the new paycheck comes in, take that amount, and you can either apply it to debt or you can apply it to savings. And I plan to apply it to savings because I'm in baby step 3, adding money to savings in order to build up my 6-month emergency fund. So that's the stage I'm going into right now, and that is what we're going to do. So as I did before in my other budget, I am just going to come over here. Let's see, there's my spent, and I'm going to change these numbers of what I planned on my budget was going to be. And because my husband was out to sea and not home, we didn't spend as much as I normally would have needed for the budget. And I'm just going to put it in the savings. Now, if I still need it, I can take it out of savings. That's not a problem. But I want to get in the habit of having a paycheck, having a certain amount of money, and then transferring before the new check comes, or the day the new check comes, the money left over from the previous paycheck, and put that either towards a debt or towards savings. And we are doing savings. So that is the goal. Oops. Do that again. There we go. So we spent $354.18. There we go. Now, when you change this to remaining, it goes to 0. But I'm going to leave this, I'll leave it here. That'll be fine. Now, we only spent, come on, there we go, 104, and you can see the spent amount right there. 104.71, and then there we go. Now we're down to 0. So what I'm doing is lowering what I actually spent. Now here I was over budget. Now you're going to see, and you can't tell here. Let me move me down. There we go. And sorry about that bar there. Come on. There we go. Okay, so that's what I have left to budget. Now, this negative is actually going to take from what's left to budget that I had from grocery, household, restaurants, and that number is going to drop because I spent more than what I budgeted. But the money was covered because it was all in one checking account, and I didn't worry about it. I intentionally went over. I needed some things. I wanted some things, and I knew we had the money to cover it from the other categories, so I just didn't worry about it. I went ahead and got it. Let's see. I'm going to put 0 here because we didn't spend anything. I do need to get gas, but I don't have to get it today. So I had left over $459.68 plus this buffer amount that was in the checking account. So I'm going to delete that for a second and make it disappear. Now I'm at a different number at the top, $1,037.08. And I'm starting to think, let me pull my planner that I just did. And I'm a couple of dollars off. Oh, here we go. I wrote it down here. So let me calculate what the difference was. So what I tracked in my paper budget, and a few dollars I'm not that concerned about. I'm sure I'll figure out what it is. I just won't do it right now. Oops. $1,037.08, and I'm going to subtract the 1029.66, $7.42. That's the reason why. Okay, so there is something I didn't account for, and I know exactly what it is, so it will be correct in just a moment. My one-time transactions that I keep at the bottom that aren't part of my spending category, I am over in one category as soon as I find it. Here it is. And I paid, let's see, because this is a free version, I have to put the actual transactions in myself. And so here we go. I paid, let me look at my notes here, $18.01. Let's see if this changes it and makes it correct. $18.01. There we go. Now I'm $7.42, and that was the difference in the top there. So what I have to do is change this to $18.01, and voila, now it's down to zero. And that is what I budgeted in my paper planner, exactly how much left to budget, which will go into savings. So now, okay, now that I've reconciled all this and I have this $1,029.66 left, I no longer need this transfer to savings. This is just to hold a specific amount of money that's kind of like sitting in your checking account until the next paycheck. For me, at least that's how I'm working with it. So this is kind of like my buffer, and then the new check comes, and just before the new check, I calculate what's left in the checking account, take it to zero. I don't transfer the funds, but I know exactly how much was in the account before the deposit was made, how much cash was available that I could put into savings. So that's what this is a placeholder for. And that's just for this paycheck period. You're going to see here I have paycheck 2 spending, and I actually have an amount, $189.85 to transfer into savings, but that's kind of like the buffer sitting there, and until the night before the paycheck comes, I may have to change that if I need the extra money to go in one of the categories. And that is just specific for that one paycheck, paycheck 2. And then I have for paycheck 3, I have a couple $100 sitting here. I just needed a placeholder. I used to call it a balance forward, where it's just my buffer. It's set until the end of the month instead of the end of a paycheck, and then I would just either roll it over the next month or deposit it or put it towards debt, one or the other. So we're going to go to the savings. I still have this balance left to budget, so I am going to plan on putting $333.50 here to build my emergency fund back to $1,000. So my goal is, and this savings right here, all of these saving areas is one savings account. Okay, so there's one pot it's all going into, but I categorize it. $1,000 of it represents emergency fund. 3 to 6 months expenses is represented right here and what I have in there. And I usually include dividends that come from our credit union bank. And I put them in I just put it in that category because it needs to go somewhere. Yes, I am. I'm going to do the 3 to 6 months expenses, and that's going to be $696.16. There we go. Now I'm at EveryDollar budget. This $916.50 will be coming out of the overtime that's coming in with my husband's paycheck on the 13th. So that is paycheck 2, and I will reflect that there. That's going to be in there, and then we're ready to roll. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get into this and just really, do the paycheck to paycheck budgeting in EveryDollar, and it looks like it's going to be exciting. It looks like it's definitely going to work. I've been doing it every month for the past 2 or 3 months and tweaking it to make it work, but this is my first paycheck 1 spending budget that I've reconciled with the savings and figuring it out. So I've been doing that with you. So if I stumble a little bit, I'm still getting used to the savings part because, I just can't believe I'm there. I can't believe it. And I'm really excited. And I hope and pray, your day comes with that and you get excited and you no longer have debt and to worry about and be concerned with. So that's going to be exciting. And I'd love to hear when you start reaching those milestones and want to, share, where you're transferring your money, how you're paying your debt. I want to celebrate with you. I want to, congratulate you on those things. And I'm sure other people would too. So that is my paycheck to paycheck budgeting. And that will be all. So I hope you have an amazing and blessed day. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.